Japan Journal, Monday, June 17th. It's 4:38 in the afternoon in Japan, and I have been in bed all day. I woke up this morning in like crazy pain. Um, some of y'all might have seen some of my videos I posted a month or two ago that I've been having a lot of physical pain since March. We think it's some sort of autoimmune flare up or something, but we're not sure. I'm still in the midst of having testing done to try and figure out what it is, but my whole body just radiates pain. My arms radiate pain. It's so weird because, like, yesterday, I mean, like, my feet have been sore because, I do a lot of walking and stuff. But, like, yesterday, I was on a train for 4 hours. I really wasn't on my feet very much. Um, it's not my dancing that hurts me. My dancing actually makes me feel better. And it's one of the weird things. It's like, I know if I get up and I start moving around that I'll feel better, but it's the getting up and moving around part that's really hard. Like, my body just, it hurts and it feels stiff. When I get up, like I do have some form of arthritis. They're testing me to see if it's rheumatoid, but I haven't got the results back yet. But like my hands, they if I used to love to draw and to write. I don't do either one of those very often anymore because if I do them for more than 10 to 15 minutes, my hands will start to get stiff and I can't uncurl my fingers, or I have a hard time uncurling my fingers. There have been times, and I have been noticing, actually, it's a good thing I'm making this video because I have actually noticed this week that I've been having some muscular issues with my fingers. And it's one of the reasons that, like I move them around a lot. I mean, most of the time my fingers actually move on their own and I just try and mask it. But like when I feel my fingers starting to get stiff, I'll try and move them around too because they'll, yeah, like they'll tighten up. And if I wiggle them around and then do my stuff or whatever, they'll loosen up. Like I don't know, it's just like a lactic acid thing. I don't know anything about biology, guys. Anybody know anything about this? Apparently, doctors don't know anything and can't figure out what's wrong with me. Like, there's obviously there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with everybody, right? Like, it's just like, what the hell is it? Like, um, anyways, so yeah. But I'm giving myself today to rest. I'm hoping to maybe drag myself into the shower in a minute and to start moving around and to go out this evening, enjoy sunrise somewhere or something. But I figured I better just spend the day in bed today, resting, so that I'm able to do stuff hopefully tomorrow and the rest of the week. But man, it's stressful because it's like it costs a lot of money to be over here. Like honestly, like airfare's so expensive. Airfare was $2,000 to get over here. I think I'm over here for 24 days. So like, what is that a day? And then you got lodging and food and stuff. Now the lodging and the food over here is a lot more affordable. I think so far my lodging probably averages like $80 a night. Or actually no, I think this one's more like somewhere around 70. Thankfully, food is super cheap, and so is all the other stuff really. But I hate having a day like this. So it's like I try not to worry about money when I can, but it's like I feel it. It's like well, it is not really the money. It's I only have so many days here. I only have so many days here. I want to go see and do things and stuff. And anyways, I really don't want to come back to the States. I would much rather just stay here. Uh, I'd like, I mean, honest, I love my home in Alabama, but like, it's weird because, like, while I feel like an outsider here, I feel more comfortable here that I do in the States. And also, I'm mad at America right now. I'm mad at America. I'm mad at a lot of American companies, like the attitudes. The I have found myself. I mean, I was having some interest. Like, so I'm over here on a vision quest, and so even though I've spent the day in bed, like it hasn't been in vain. I've been thinking and reflecting and stuff like that when awake. But the past couple of days, especially yesterday, I was having some interesting thoughts thinking about. So Japan was isolationist for over 200 years during a period they called the Edo Period. It started in the 1600s and ended in the 1800s. And I was trying to remember why they decided to isolate. And I looked it up, and like the simple answer is basically the shogun felt threatened by European ideas and Catholics. And eventually, because of pressure from like traders and stuff like that, um, ports Japan opened up to the world in the 1800s. But it's a wonderful thing that Japan isolated. And I was thinking about this because the last time I was here, I remember thinking about just how different the city is and the culture is and how beautiful it is. And the last time I was here in 2015, coming here made me appreciate like nationalism, like nationalism versus like globalism, or like like having pride in one's nation or culture versus you know being embracing the more like international, like global, like I mean even like diversity. I mean, like, there's plenty of diversity here, but there's beauty in both things, which was one of my big takeaways from the last time. It was like I got to see what a culture looks like when it develops on its own and it has its own distinct flavor, as opposed to when it becomes diluted or it's the same as everywhere else. Now, there's beautiful things about places where there's lots of diversity and stuff too, which is why I think it's important to be aware of both. Because, from my perspective, on what we see in the States and on what people like freaking preach and stuff, you just hear people talking about, well, you've either got your backwoods people that are like, we don't want none of this and we don't want none of that, or you've got everybody else that's like, we want to include everybody, open our borders, and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of talk right there makes me nervous. I think I'm glad the Shogun did what he did, and I think that we need to think about things like that. Um, I've always, what's that saying? Good fences make good neighbors. We do need to think about like what is our culture and who and what are we letting in. We have so much crime right now. Now I totally think we should let lots of foreigners in, like I mean, aren't we supposed to like let the ones in that like are talented and come from good backgrounds and good traits and stuff? I mean, like that's what we want, right? However, we want to make sure that we're not letting people in that have like crazy attitudes that are going to affect us. Like, I know it was years ago, that I was very scared to discover that there are a few pockets in the US where like Sharia law is practiced or something like that. Now, of course, those reports might be being exaggerated. It's one of the reasons it's important to travel and go see for yourself like what's going on, or people just fear mongering or whatever. But I mean, Japan is so beautiful. It makes me wonder what other parts of the world would have been like had basically the Europeans not infiltrated and Catholics and stuff. But okay, here's one of the controversial thoughts that I had. I was wondering or feeling like it's a good thing. It's a good thing that Shogun. Okay, so the pen is mightier than the sword. It's a good thing that Shogun isolated Japan, because he also just perceived that like I don't know, the country and the people weren't ready. Country and the people weren't ready to stand up for themselves and protect themselves from foreign ideas, because like guys, the Catholics were pretty fucking awful, and I couldn't help but compare Japan isolating itself from uh, Catholics and their religious ideas and some European stuff, but mostly the religious stuff. Can help compare that to the pandemic. Basically, Japan was quarantining themselves from the spread of a very aggressive and nasty group. You know, a group that burned people alive for being witches when those people were just practicing their spiritual gifts. What it is fucking patriarchy wanted to control everything and basically, create a business out of the church and, you know, control people. But it did that. The damn Bible that everybody thinks is like the law of the land. They cherry picked what they wanted to put in it, and then they altered it just enough to suit their own agenda. Yet so many people are ignorant of that and just blindly follow it without question. I mean, so many people, only look at one translation of it and freaking think that that is the that's the thing. And there is some good stuff in the book. But see, this is the tricky thing. They used legit spiritual writings, so there's a lot of truth in it. They took something that was really good and that resonated with people because there was a lot of truth in it, and they changed it just enough for people not to really notice, to not really question it. We should be like, okay, because they had these people's like blind trust and stuff. And like, oh, well, you wouldn't say that, so and so's a liar, wrote things wrong. No, the person that wrote down their spiritual writings probably wasn't wrong. Now, things probably got lost in translation and stuff like that. It's the damn translators, and the freaking, group putting the damn things together. So, anyways, I found myself thinking of, Catholics and Christianity as a virus. And it's not all bad, but dear God, the harm that Christians and Catholics, etc., have done in the world is immense. See it in my community every day. I know so many people that have suffered from this bullshit of, these places that teach from a place of fear, or they control people with fear and shame. They make people feel like they have to go to church or read the Bible or be a Christian in order to have a relationship with God or whatever they want to call the divine. It's complete and utter rubbish. So I'd love to go on more about this. I made a little video about it yesterday. I think I'll share. But just the sheer thought that you need a middleman to help you with your relationship between God, or that that you have to follow this one way, that there's only one, the idea that there's only one way, there's only one path, the biggest load of bullshit that the population of this planet has been fed. And thank God Japan dodged that bullet for so long. Yeah, anyways, here's hoping I can get myself out of bed and go explore some more.